There was much travel between the two countries, and they even combined efforts to explore deeper into certain regions of Earth. A mixed group of blacks and yellows landed one day on the tip of South Africa, now called the Cape of Good Hope. Africa has changed very little since those times, apart from the Sahara, the northeastern area and the Red Sea, which didn't exist then. But that is another story we will get to later. At the time of the exploration, they had already been established on Earth for 3 centuries. In Africa, they discovered new animals such as the elephant, the giraffe and the buffalo, and a new fruit that they had never before encountered, the tomato. Don't imagine, Michelle, that this was the tomato as you know it today. When discovered, it was the size of a very small currant and very acidic. The yellow people, having developed great expertise in such things, undertook to improve the tomato over the succeeding centuries, just as they did with rice, until it became the fruit you are now familiar with. They were equally surprised to find banana trees that, at first sight, resembled those they had imported. They had no reason to regret their efforts, however, for the African banana was practically inedible and filled with large seeds. This African expedition comprised 50 blacks and 50 yellows, bringing home elephants, tomatoes and many monkeys, for they soon discovered the mongoose to be the mortal enemy of snakes. Unfortunately, they also brought with them, without realizing it, the terrible virus which is now called yellow fever. In a very short time, millions of people had died, without their medical experts even knowing how the sickness had spread. Since it is mainly spread by the mosquito, and since there are many more mosquitoes in equatorial climates where there is no winter to reduce their numbers, it was the blacks in Australia who suffered most. In fact, they counted 4 times more victims than the yellows. The yellow race on Bakratini has always been superior in the field of medicine and pathology. Nevertheless, it took many years before they discovered a remedy for this curse, during which time hundreds of thousands died in terrible suffering. Eventually, the yellow people produced a vaccine that was immediately made available to the blacks, a gesture that reinforced the bonds of friendship between the two races. What were they physically like, these blacks? When they migrated from Bakratini, they were about 230 centimeters tall, their women too. They were a beautiful race. The yellow people were smaller in size, the average man measuring 190 centimeters and the women 180 centimeters. But you said that the present-day blacks are the descendants of those people. Why is it they are now so much smaller?